Hey guys, my name is Tommy. Welcome back to the 5-minute tour of the Inner Sea region, where we take a detailed look at various regions in the Pathfinder RPG, explore their lore, explore what we can do here both as players, as GMs, and in general, enjoy the world Paizo Productions has created for us. Last week, we talked about Qadira, that small patch of land separating Avestan from Kazmaron, satrapy to the Padishah Empire of Kalesh. Today, we're crossing the border, and we're going to talk about Taldor. Taldor is an incredibly old nation, and used to be stretched across far more land than it is today. At its height, around 2,000 years ago, Taldor controlled land that today we see in Galt, Andoran, Isger, Multhurn, Cheliax, Nirmathas, Lastwall, all of this part of a big, massive empire with its capital seated in Opara. Taldor even has a colony, the nation of Amandar, as far away as Tian Sha. Present day, Taldor occupies a small bit of land on the bottom half of Avestan, but that does not mean its presence is still not felt throughout the world. If your character in Pathfinder speaks Common, he's actually speaking Taldane, the native tongue of those who live in Taldor. So what happened to this vast empire, we might ask? Well, not unlike other empires we see on Earth, not unlike Earth's Roman Empire, which Taldor mirrors, eventually the empire just got too big for itself. People wanted to pursue their own decadence as opposed to being decent governors. In response to this, places across the empire revolted. Of course, the Taldan military quickly crushed these uprisings, but this only serves to make people more and more unhappy. In 4079 AR, Taldor is forced to recall its armies from its frontier regions back to the capital, as its neighboring Qadira has marched across the provinces all the way up to the gates of Opara. After this happens, Cheliax, under King Aspex the Even Tongue, declares its independence. They go on to annex Andoran, Galt, and Isger before signing a treaty with Taldor, formally recognizing their independence. Lastwall eventually does the same thing, declaring its independence from both Taldor and Cheliax, stating that they want to get out of the political humdrum to focus their attention on the Whispering Tyrant in Ustalav. Taldor never really recovered from this, and present day, it still remains in decline. The bureaucracy is corrupt, the lower class is poor, the major noble houses are fighting one another for power instead of consolidating their power. The frontiers outside the city are largely lawless. Without Taldor's vast amount of wealth, it's likely that the nation would have collapsed upon itself by now. Essentially, Taldor takes the place of the Byzantine Empire. We're looking at a small nation sitting next to an eastern satrapy, aka Qadira, that was once a seat of great power across the world, is now reduced to a small bit of land, a fraction of the former size of the empire. So what do our adventurers do here? What do we as GMs give them to fight, give them to do, give them to explore, things like that? Taldor has a whole lot of stuff going on. For starters, the heir to the empire, Princess Eutropia, is not a legitimate heir because Taldor follows a primogeniture, which means only male heirs are able to take over should the king die. The Grand Prince, Stavian III, only has a daughter. The nation of Taldor sticks to this primogeniture. However, Eutropia is disgusted with Taldor's stagnation, and she intends to force Taldor into the modern world, even if she has to drag it kicking and screaming the entire way. So if you've got adventurers that want to start a revolution, want to fight for equal rights amongst humanoids, Taldor is a great place to put them. On the other side of that coin, Taldor is a great place to put your evil-aligned adventurers or your lawful-neutral adventurers who are more concerned with bringing order to the world, paving the road to order with the skulls of their enemies. Taldor looks on most of the world, especially its former holdings, with a great degree of contempt. This is especially true for Cheliax. They recognize its independence, but they hate Cheliax for the revolution that eventually tore the empire apart. If Taldor had a little more power, they would certainly march back across the world, take their holdings back, and rebuild the empire they once had. So if you've got a player who wants to be the captain of the navy or even just some pirate, this is a great place to put them, as there is certainly, under the right circumstances, plenty of naval combat to be found. To top it all off, the nation of Qadira, Taldor's eastern neighbor, is more than ready to invade Taldor and take it in the name of the Padishah Empire of Kalesh. Like I said last week, Zerbistes III would jump at the chance to send his armies across the border. The Emperor won't let him, but hey, you never know. If the GM and that Emperor have a talk and they decide that, okay, it's time to go, the PCs could certainly wake up at level 1, facing an army of Kadirian soldiers storming over the walls of Apara. And that's all we've got to say about the once grand empire of Taldor. Have you ever adventured here before? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and we'll keep the conversation going. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next lore video is out next Friday.